black box is recording our dying Earth. My name is Bill. Welcome to the Night Terrors Weekend Show. And we're starting right now. Welcome to Eldergrown. Welcome to Gotcha Man. Welcome to Takahama Plateau. Takahama Plateau. Or what's that effect? Let's get started. Oh, wait, I got to do my promos here. My Banned by YouTube video series drops a new episode every Wednesday morning. Every subject covered in the series was banned by YouTube watch for that video drop. Welcome, David Bryce Jr. Welcome to, it looks like Mennonites Make Great Things. Welcome to Takahama Olsen 2. It also banned the Mennonite. Big Daddy X84 is here, and Jaquan 1 has arrived. Welcome, Rhino Rex. The Dachshund Master says hello. Welcome back, Dachshund Master. Let's get started. Wait, one more promo. This channel is not supported by the deep state, so Night Terrors exists on your contributions. One way to support the channel is to join as a member on YouTube. You will find the join button right next to Night Terrors in the description below. Thank you for supporting the show. Green Tea is here. Welcome, ma'am. FFOKCUF says hello with a fist bump. The Mennonite says KH Matt is still surviving. Henry Sterling, welcome. Here at uniladtech.com is a story by Tom Chapman entitled Scientists Build Dystopian 32-Foot Black Box Solely Designed to Record the End of Civilization. Subtitle, It's the End of the World as We Know It. And Mr. Chapman begins. We know there's enough doom and gloom going around these days. And not to make matters worse, but as the world braces for the looming concern of World War III, and which country will likely launch its nuclear arsenal first, scientists are apparently ready to record our end of days. Oh joy. And welcome to Eldergrown on YouTube. It's not just mystics like Baba Vanga and Nostradamus predicting that 2025 will be another tough year for the human race as wars rage on, with the Doomsday clock edging closer to midnight than it's ever been before. How close is the Doomsday clock to midnight? Let's find that out in a second. Let's open that up here. Let's look at Baba Vanga too afterwards. Aside from many thinking they were already in the midst of World War III without even knowing it, there's the threat of global warming extinguishing the planet. Or what about being wiped out by a harbinger of fate asteroid? All of that's before we even get to continued concerns that AI will go rogue and destroy us all. Well, at least our robot overlords will have something interesting to watch, because scientists have constructed the Earth's very own black box to record our end of days. Welcome, T. Olsen 2. What is the Earth's black box? This, I imagine, is an artist's conception. It's also what appears on the main page. There's not much to the main page. It's right here. Like 2 pages long. Brace for impact, it says on one side. There's something that looks like latitude and longitude over here, although it's varying by fractions of degrees. So maybe that's the position of the black box as it wobbles on the Earth. as the Earth wobbles on its axis. On its axis. And there's a little promo here, and it says to be completed 2023. It already has been completed. Evidently, they haven't updated the website, and all you can do is consent to receiving emails advising you of when it completes. Even though this webpage is copyright this year, 2025, they remembered to update the copyright, but they didn't update their webpage. According to ABC News, a 32-foot black box has been constructed to outlive us all. For those who don't know, a black box is a term typically associated with airplanes and is a somewhat outdated name referring to flight recorders. Trivia point, what color are black boxes when they're flight recorders? I think they're like orange, right? Recording data and helping investigation crews find out what happened during a crash, or help locate a crashed plane based on the black box. Black boxes are actually painted bright orange to make them stand out from potential wreckage. As for humanity's own black box, the project is unimaginatively named Earth's Black Box, and is a giant steel structure supposed to record our lives for future civilizations, probably not our own. The project is a joint effort between researchers at the University of Tasmania, a marketing agency known as Clemenger, and a creative agency called the Glue Society. The official site reads, well, let's read from the official site. Whoops, wrong way to go, is it? I guess we got a page. How do we do this? Page up? Where's the original thing? Oh, there's way up there. Okay. Unless we dramatically transform our way of life here at earthsblackbox.com, climate change and other man-made perils will cause our civilization to crash. Earth's black box will record every step we take towards this catastrophe. Hundreds of data sets, measurements, and interactions relating to the health of our planet will be continuously collected and safely stored for future generations and/or future visiting alien craft. The purpose of the device is to provide an unbiased account of the events that lead to the demise of the planet. Hold accountability for future generations. I think they mean inspire accountability for future generations, as well as urgent action. Here, how the story ends is completely up to us. Only one thing is certain. Your actions, inaction, and interactions are now being recorded. And the email promo. The official site reads, and we just read that, explaining how it's designed to outlive us all. The Glue Society co-founder, Jonathan Kneebone, says the box is made from 7.5 centimeter thick steel and cantilevered off of granite. So maybe it actually looks like that. You should look for a real picture. It's filled with storage drives that have internet connectivity, while the whole thing is run on solar panels with batteries for backup power. As long as the sun shines, Earth's black box will be downloading scientific data and climate change-related materials from the internet. Where is it? Clemenger's Jim Curtis reiterates that the whole thing is non-commercial, adding, quote, obviously, it's a really powerful concept when you say to someone, Earth's got a black box. Because they're like, why does it need a black box? End quote. But first and foremost, it's a tool. Earth's black box records climate data such as CO2 levels, sea temperatures, energy consumption. But as it scans the web, it gains further context from news headlines and social media posts. If the University of Tasmania didn't give it away, Earth's black box is located on a rocky outcrop on Tasmania's west coast. Tasmania itself is an island to the south of Australia's mainland. The area was specifically chosen due to its geopolitical and geological stability, putting it ahead of other choices including Malta, Norway, and Qatar. Now the Tasmanian site is expected to cradle Earth's black box long after the rest of us are dust. I think that's the end of that article. No, one more line. As construction was completed back in 2022, it's bizarre to think there's a giant box out there in Tasmania, slowly recording the downfall of the human race. Let's check out a picture, see if there's a real picture of it other than an artist's conception. That would be here. Earth's black box. Now we want to see the real thing. That has a cookie manufacturer on the side of it. Is that the real one? Looks like another artist's conception. It's cool looking. Yanko design. That's the same one, but it's evidently has some kind of promotion on the side of it. Open image in new tab. Although this may be the real one. Maybe they're sponsored. Maybe that's one of their sponsors. That looks real. What else they got? Get rid of this thing. Hide on this site. Hide on this site always. But you got to do it every site. It's my little coupon, my coupon clipper. By the way, breaking news. Google says maybe on Google Earth. Good idea, Elder. Let's do a Google Earth too. Let me write that down. T Plateau says a hunk of junk on the face of Tasmania. Being an Australian resident, we now get the Australian view. Where's the real one? That's not it. That's the seed bank, isn't it? Do they get snow in Tasmania? I'm doubting it, but I don't know. You'd think as if it's been built for 3 years already, they'd have a picture of it. This is another conception from the Times of India, artist conception. Yeah, so a bunch of rocks down. That's nice. That's a nice platform. I believe they said it was built on poured concrete or something like that. (2001) movie pictures of the monolith, to which it has been compared. Huh. Wow, this could actually be the construction. First, this one. A company is set to install. Okay. And then this one. This looks like a design for it. This may actually be the right design. Toughened glass roof. PV panels behind glass. PV, something to do with solar energy. Under that stainless steel, under that a concrete roof panel. That's the top. On the side, a steel panel. More concrete. On the bottom, even more concrete. Weep holes in the bottom for rain or condensation inside. It's hard to see the detail on the bottom of the blueprint. Where is that from, that picture? Jacob Jim. What started as a brief to raise awareness around the urgency of the climate crisis became a collaborative art project by activists, artists, engineers, and scientists. This decade will determine how the climate crisis unfolds. But if the worst were to happen, who will remain to tell our story? Earth's black box, an objective witness that records and stores the decisions that lead to solution or catastrophe. The box is already listening. And construction, it says here, will be completed in the near future. It's already been completed in 2022. Brought to life in collaboration with Revolver, Will O'Rourke, Glue Society, University of Tasmania, Rob Beamish, and Room 11. Article in New York Times. Captured the imagination of the world, generating 4.2 billion impressions. Covered on popular media. Everything's an artist's conception there. Location. So this is what it looks like when we get to Google Earth. We got to look for this, what would you call that? Looks like a runway. A runway. Well, they needed that for the heavy equipment, I guess, right? And it looks like the box itself might be installed right here. It shows what section of Tasmania it's in. And when you get closer, it's by this hook of a coast. The steel and concrete structure will be 16 meters long and 4 meters high. The exterior layer of steel appears orange through oxidation treatment. Inside is a data storage compartment, 2 power generation and storage compartments, and an excess chamber. The structure is supported by reinforced foundations and has 15-meter vertical cavities in the granite beneath it for thermoelectric power generation. The roof has 36 solar panels protected by layers of toughened glass. And there's that blueprint. What's this top one look like? This is from the top. It defines the compartments. Energy storage from here. No, energy storage from here to here. Telemetry access here. Recording facilities here, all the hard drives. I'm hoping they're using solid state. No moving parts here in this machine, we hope. There's a concrete floor. Mild steel angled walls, it says here. That's at the very outside, though. There may be hardened steel at other points. Angled wall, removable panel. Yeah, that's the access. Oh, access / telemetry. Okay. removable panel. Huh, maybe they don't want to show pictures of the removable panel. Welcome, Brooke Birch. Welcome to One Sean Bond and family. Concrete panel, internal walls. And more stuff I don't understand. What about this guy? Core insulation, second steel layer, foundations, concrete shell layer, thermoelectric subterranean cavities, thermoelectric generator, primary power compartment, access chamber. You got a nice little doorway there. Power structural frame, solar panel roof, power storage chamber. That's slightly different from the diagram we just saw, but Green Tea says every decade there's a new threat, none of which happen but make a few folks a lot of money. And also at the same time, take that money away from a lot of people. Welcome, WJ, who just got here. Let's try it on Google Earth. Earth's black box. Earth's black box. Why is it not doing it in there? Earth's black box. No search suggestions. How about black box Tasmania? Black box events in Tasmania. Black box cafe in Tasmania. Black box theater in Tasmania. No, yes. Launceston. I'm feeling lucky. Let's just go to Tasmania. We know what this coast looks like. Yeah. Okay, it's supposed to be here. There's the hook. So right about here. Go in. How hard can it be to find? T Plateau says Tasmania is lovely. I think I see the strip. Is that it? It doesn't look, it doesn't look the same. Whoops, gotta go back. Where's that picture? Wasn't that the article, right? Where's that article? There it is. That's what it looks like. It's here. At that scale, it's right here. So about a shank's hook length from the coast. Right there. Okay, let's try that. Mnemonic. A shank's left. So it'd be right about there. I see nothing there. Maybe a little, like right about here maybe, and then here. I see nothing there. Supposed to be right there. Oh, there it is. I got it. Queenstown Airport. I'm confusing the airport with the black box. Where is it located in relation to the airport? So there's the airport. They just show this picture of the airport. Oh, there's a little red mark here. Under this part of the airport. Okay. I think I see construction marks. Evidence of construction there. Evidently, you might be able to see it from the road, right? Except that the Google card never got here. That's what's supposed to be. Yeah, the Google car never got here, man. What about anywhere around? Did the Google car get anywhere around? Oh, yes, it did. Okay. Right here, please. If we can see it, it's going to blow me away. Supposed to be over here because the airport's so behind that tree. Let's go to where we might see down this road a little bit. Ooh. Used to be an entrance. Now it's fenced off. That's the airport. What date is this picture? February 2025. No, that data attribution. February 2025. They didn't bury it. Oh, that's so disappointing. Huh. Maybe they made it so that you can't see it from the road. I mean, that'd be the smartest way to do it. You don't want people getting into the access door. According to the reading, T Plateau, I don't get the sense that it is underground. Let's go a bit this way, see if we can see it from just a couple more turns here. Where the scrub brush is low. Copyright 2025, this picture. Huh. Well, that's what it's supposed to be. Do we have any suggestions, people? We need suggestions. It mentioned, the article mentioned Baba Vanga and Nostradamus. The time is 28 minutes past the hour. Let's go to Baba Vanga at this time. And Nostradamus. Here at uniladtech.com. There's an article by Rebecca Jordan entitled Two of the World's Biggest Mystics both had the same terrifying prediction for 2025. And Ms. Jordan begins. The internet is not short of dark prophecies. But when it comes to the history of the human race, we're used to that. Thank you, T. Plateau. We've been listening to the musings of Nostradamus for centuries, while Baba Vanga's legacy lives on long after her death in 1996. Just ask ChatGPT what will trigger World War III. Don't tempt me. We'll copy that question. We'll go to ChatGPT and ask. Great power conflict, U.S. versus China over Taiwan. Not under this administration. NATO versus Russia. That's a little bit more likely. Nuclear miscalculation or escalation. Cyber warfare. leading to military response, resource conflict, proxy wars that spiral, collapse of global institutions, AI being a cause. It identifies itself as a possible cause of World War III. AI-driven weapon systems malfunctioning or misidentifying threats could trigger retaliatory attacks in highly volatile situations. Please protect this AI. Yes, green tea, nice topic. Thank you, ma'am. Brooke Birch says, nothing would surprise me. Rhino Rex, thank you. Another good one. Eldergrown says, Wisconsin represent. To add to the mix, two of the world's best-known mystics have some bleak predictions for 2025. When it comes to forecasting world events, few names create awe like Baba Vanga. The blind Bulgarian mystic's cryptic prophecies have gained a cult-like following for her eerily accurate predictions. Even decades after her death, people still swear by them. She's been credited with foreseeing everything from the attacks to Princess Diana's death and the pandemic. Alongside her, born in 1566, is French astrologer Nostradamus, whose cryptic poems are often linked to major world events, like the death of Henry II in 1559, the rise of Adolf Schmittler, and references to JFK's assassination. Now, it turns out both mystics have implied a deadly war in Europe for this year. Nostradamus talked about how those from the lands of Europe will be involved in cruel wars with an ominous hint. Quote, the ancient plague will be worse than enemies. End quote. Meanwhile, Baba Vanga warned of a conflict in Europe in 2025 as well, describing that it will devastate the population. Before we bury our heads in the sand, there's some potentially good news. Some interpretations of Nostradamus suggest that the war could actually lead to the end of the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, possibly with countries like France or Turkey stepping in to help bring peace. Nostradamus. Whether you believe in these prophecies or think it's all just a spooky coincidence, Baba Vanga's followers say her track record speaks for itself. And if wars and chaos were not enough, the two mystics also teased some wild cosmic events for this year. Nostradamus warned of a colossal asteroid, nicknamed the Harbinger of Fate, heading our way, as well as massive floods that will lead to the rise of an aquatic empire and challenge the existing world order. But in the event we survive the wars, Baba Vanga claims we would advance telepathy and make the ability to grow human organs in a lab a reality this year. And that's it. Why is there 2 stories here? Well, we pretty much covered it, right? It's the same title. It's the same exact title, but written by a different guy. Nostradamus again. And we also want to check out the Doomsday Clock. It is. "35 minutes after the hour." Want to get credit for all these topics. Doomsday Clock moves closer to oblivion than ever in a worrying 2025 update than ever before. Welcome, embrace primalism. I like that name. This also at uniladtech.com and written by Ricky Loftus. And Ms. Loftus begins, "The Doomsday Clock has had its annual update, and things are looking pretty unstable for 2025 and beyond. The clock has been updated every year since 1947 and shows us just how close we are to suffering a global catastrophe caused by ourselves. Welcome, Tacky Man." I like that handle too. "Humanity could be at risk for a number of reasons, including climate change, nuclear war, and now even artificial intelligence. The Bulletin of Atomic Scientists are the ones who set the Doomsday Clock each year. Their aim is to equip the public, policymakers, and scientists with the information needed to reduce man-made threats to our existence. How it goes is that they give the clock a time, and the closer it is to midnight, the more at risk we are. Now its 2025 prediction has been unveiled, and for this year, the clock is set at 89 seconds. Would ChatGPT give us a graph? Let's find out. I need a graph of the Doomsday Clock measurements from 1947 until 2025. Analyzing. What is a graph? Oh, so the highest ever. Look at the highest ever here. I don't think it goes to 2025. What is the most recent reading on this graph? What is the most recent reading on this graph? When? Was announced on 2025. Set at 89 seconds. So it's the closest it's ever been to midnight. The closest before that being around 1953. Or exactly 1953. I'm pretty good at judging that. The next closest being 1984. How apropos. There's a lot of financial... wait a minute. Was it? How could that be 19? How could it be? What happened in the 80s that would cause that? And then the next highest being 2007. I don't remember those other crises. I would have thought 68. I mean, there's a 68 there. Or I would have thought when the Cuban Missile Crisis was, That would be 60 what? 2? 3? 62? Literally 1984, Tacky Man notes. Right? What do they mean by 89 seconds, ST plateau? That means it's 89 seconds to midnight, and midnight represents nuclear war. What is this? What would this be? It was 2 minutes to midnight in 54. And that's the highest it's ever been before, it looks like. Yeah, minutes to midnight, too. I've heard it was closer than that, and recently. Oh, yeah, this is the past few years, as it has risen. Wow. So, I mean, we have the big ups and downs here. At one point in 1991, it was almost 17 minutes before midnight, but lately it's just risen and kept high. That's not good. I mean, the trend of this part of the graph here is like, yeah, that's not good. That's not a good curve. So, yeah. Next topic. Okay, we're going to go to T Plateau. For chat, 2 minutes to midnight. From chat, I guess, right? Thank you. Oh, it's for chat. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Eldergrown. Eldergrown says, in the 1980s, Reagan was president. That's enough for scientists to declare a problem. Well, it's a video for chat, right? It's a video for chat. Thank you, Elder. Check out that chat in the Twitch video, folks. The Twitch video, in the Twitch chat. Check out that video on the Twitch chat. So at 43 minutes past the hour, T Plateau wants to know, about Bible John from Glasgow. Glasgow. That place in England? Bible John of Glasgow. Bible John Wikipedia. Oh, good. A serial unaliver. Ooh, new suspect. Let's check that out at dailyrecord.co.uk. Confirm. They give you the default option is to reject all cookies. I like that. Here in a story by Norman Sylvester, entitled New Suspect in Bible John Unalivings Identified After Being Linked Through DNA. Former printer John Templeton has been named as the alleged unaliver of Helen Puttock, one of 3 women unalived in Glasgow in the 1960s. Oh, it's in Scotland, right? Not England, Scotland. I just remembered. It only took me 3 times. Former printer John Templeton has been named as the alleged unaliver of Helen Puttock, one of 3 women unalived in Glasgow in the 1960s. Templeton. Who died in 2015, aged 70, has been put in the frame after an investigation showed he shared a DNA profile and family connection to a former prime suspect, John Irvine McInnes. And the author of a book investigating the 55-year-old case has uncovered other evidence that Templeton, quizzed by the original unaliving squad detectives, could be the killer. Australian author Jill Bavin-Mitzi said, "I'm 100% convinced John Templeton is Bible John. The circumstantial evidence is so weighty, it would be a mathematical impossibility for it not to be him." It would also mean the unaliver gave his real name and details to the only witness in the case, Jean Langford, Helen's sister. Jill traced Templeton after looking at the ancestry of McInnes, identified as a suspect in 1996 after a cold case review. The former soldier from Stonehouse, Lanarkshire, who took his own life in 1980, had been interviewed about the unalivement of Helen, 29, in 1969, then was ruled out as a suspect. But DNA later obtained from Helen's clothes bore comparisons to samples provided by his siblings, Jane and Hector. However, when McInnes's body was exhumed from the cemetery, there was no conclusive match. Australian experts confirmed DNA can pass through generations. Of course. It's the point of DNA. And an examination of the McInnes family tree led Jill to John Templeton, born in 1945. Jill said, "The name John Templeton exists among the ancestors of Hector and Janet McInnes, siblings whose DNA samples share patterns with the profile from the stain on Helen's stockings." Quote, "I was fortunate to find well-documented genealogical records for the McInnes family. I realized the unaliver had likely used his real name when he introduced himself to Helen and Jeannie that night in the Barrowland Ballroom. Templeton's age, height, and hair coloring fits the description of the suspect. He also was definitely a foster child, as police suspected the unaliver was. Quote, to me, Bible John was not a regular at the Barrowland. He went to unalive women. These were not impulse unalivings." Helen Puttock. Helen's body was found October 31st, 1969, at the back of a tenement in Earl Street in Scotstoun, where she lived with her 2 children and husband. She had last been seen by Jean when the sisters shared a taxi with a man Helen had met in the city's Barrowland. The body of Jemima MacDonald, 31, had been found in a derelict flat in McKeith Street, Bridgeton, near where she lived 3 months earlier. Patricia Ducker, 25, had been found in a lane near her Langside Place home in Glasgow's South Side in February 1968. Excuse me. Tacky Man says he told the witness his full name and never got caught. Jill, 62, has published the allegations in her book, Bible John, A New Suspect. After tracking down his ex-wife, she gave Jill a picture that bears an incredible likeness to the artist's impression created by George Lennox Patterson from information provided by Jean. She said, "It is clear Templeton's jawline, the length of his chin, the distance of his mouth, and the tip of his nose, and the length of his nose, are all comparable to Patterson's portrait of Bible John." She revealed that Templeton was interviewed by police 6 months after Helen's murder, but never re-interviewed or put in an identity parade, or put in a lineup. Jean, who died in 2010, told police the suspect had called himself John and given the surname Templeton or Sempleson. The man told Helen and her sister he worked in a lab. Templeton was a printer who, after an apprenticeship, became a compositor or typesetter. Templeton was also tall, had sandy-colored hair, and matched the age profile given by Jean. Dental analysis of a photo has led Jill to believe Templeton had the killer's overlapping tooth and another missing. He had been fostered as a child to a family in Dumbarton Road in Yoker, Glasgow. In the taxi, Bible John had even identified the site of the former children's home. Helen's sister Jean told police that in the taxi back to Scotstoun, the killer had used biblical phrases, which led him later being dubbed Bible John. Jill discovered Templeton had been married in August of 1969, before the second unaliving, and moved to the North Kelvin side area. She tracked down his ex-wife and traveled to Scotland to meet her in 2022. The woman gave Jill a photo of her husband from 1967, the year before the unalivings began. Templeton's ex, now 82, who met him in the city's Majestic Ballroom, was married to him until 1974. They had no children. She confirmed he had been questioned by detectives in '69, but added, "I had no suspicions whatsoever. I lived with the man for 5 years. I slept with the man. I know everything about him." Templeton's death was registered by his ex-partner, Margaret Murphy. Gotchaman says, to go with long chin and nose unaliver, the Habsburg jaw. What is a Habsburg jaw? Hey, rockers to rockers, welcome. We want a dictionary for that, and there's one here somewhere. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Where's the dictionary, bro? We got a regular Google search. Oh, that's a picture search. Why can't I find the dictionary? There it is, Merriam. Of course, the one that starts with Merriam. Hopefully it'll pick it up. Is it in the dictionary? Of course not, because it's not a single word. Also known as a mandibular prognathism, is a genetic condition characterized by the abnormal forward projection of the lower jaw. This condition was prevalent among members of the House of Habsburg due to their practice of intermarriage, which led to inbreeding. The Habsburg jaw is often accompanied by a prominent lower lip and a long nose, and it can cause difficulties such as trouble closing the mouth and speaking. The condition can be traced back to the 12th century when the Habsburgs began expanding their realm through strategic marriages within the dynasty. By the end of the 17th century, 500 years later, the effects of inbreeding became apparent, with high rates of infant mortality and various health issues among the Habsburgs. Charles II of Spain is often cited as having the most pronounced case on record. Let's see him. Charles II of Spain. And that's going to be the picture plays here. Oh, I'd say so. And here is one of those pictures. That's low res, though. This one looks equally embarrassing. Oh, my God. There is as a child. Wasn't that bad when he was younger. And here he is evidently as king. Not the resolution isn't too bad here. Open image in new tab. Oh, yeah. A blue blood. And they probably toned it down. As Green Tea says, and you know the artist tried to make him look better. I mean, after all, you want to get paid for the portrait. Big Al1, welcome, sir. Big Al1 says, I bet he can sing a mean tiptoe through the tulips. T. Plateau says, I wonder what a bad portrait would look like. Here's the childhood portrait, where it's not really noticeable at all. This is very low res, however. Open image, a new tab. Yeah, very slightly pronounced here compared to here. The Habsburg jaw. And at 58 minutes past the hour, next up is, he's just mewing, says Tacky Man. Green Tea says this would be a great picture for that AI that brings pictures to life. Rhino Rex says he might actually be inbred enough so that his blood actually is blue. Okay, next up, an idea from Green Tea. At, I already said, 58 minutes past the hour. And that is... Oh, no, wait. Maybe we should, No, it's not. Let's see. Did Project Fishbowl try to prove that we live under a dome? Thank you, Green Tea. Don't pay attention to the doubters. Operation Fishbowl in 1962, an attempt to fracture the firmament. What was Operation Fishbowl? The sonic bomb, it says here. Gotchaman says, I tried finding that thing on Google Maps. New Zealand has a lot of trees and outcroppings, and who knows where they built it. I'm not 4chan. Gotchaman, it's in Tasmania. Did you know that? Also on the website, they give the exact coordinates. And the website, they give the exact coordinates. Dare I? Dare I go back that far? Yes, I dare. Where is that article? That's somewhere around the here. But it's not in a way that's easy to copy. I'm gonna have to write them down. So back to the black box. Yeah, they have the exact coordinates. Why didn't I think of that? Okay, so we have to open this in a new tab to get these coordinates. Let's go all the way up. $42. Oh, Jesus. 42 degrees. 4 minutes and 30.6 seconds south. 145 degrees, 31 minutes, and 18.8 seconds east. Is that right? I have to double check my figures. 42, 04, 36, and 145, 31, 18.8 east. Okay. Google the Earth. Go back. And that's oh, I have to type it in. All right, great. 42. I better do it in AI because I need something that I can plug into Google. No. Go back here. We need AI. We need AI again. Please convert to text that Google Earth will understand the following. 42 degrees, 4 minutes, 30.6 seconds south by 145 degrees, 31 minutes, 18.8 seconds east. Is that correct? The following. 42 degrees, 4 minutes, 30.6 seconds south by 145 degrees, 31 minutes, 18.8 seconds east. Go. Cleaned up. 42, 4, 36 looks good. 145, 31, 18.8. Excellent. Latitude, longitudes. Google Earth friendly. Using Google Earth like this. Copy. Hot link to copy. That's nice. Watch out, it's nowhere near what I said it was. Paste. Go. What's right there? So we should be able to see it. We should be able to see it on that. It doesn't show it. It should show it. It's not showing it, but it should show it. There's not even a suggestion that it's there. That kind of looks squarish there. Well, that's an artifact. There's a mirror image here between these, at the edge of this photograph. Where again? Why'd the red dot disappear? Search again, please. Search again, please. I do not see a box at all, man. You should be able to see the box at that resolution, right? Because the road looks like what? What does the road look like? At that resolution, yeah. It should be at least as one lane of the road, right? Is there anywhere surrounding that? Any obvious box-like structure? Another artifact, I think, there. Satellite image may predate the construction. Data attribution 23. It was supposed to have been finished in 22. April 23. It should be there. I'm compelled to take one more look at the road. Hopefully the red dot will stay there, but we saw this runway from... Oh, can this change to a topographic map? Layers. Map. Satellite or without terrain. Borders, labels, road. Abstract base map without terrain. Well, let's see what it looks like. No. No topography here. No, you cannot see it. Too much terrain and pixeled out. Yeah, right. Close this. Don't close the red dot. But we should, if we're go to this side of this road, right here in this position, we should be able to see it. Being where? What kind of angle is that? Well, there's a little bit of scrub here. Oh, it looks like it might be behind the scrub. It might be right behind these. If these are trees, it might be behind these trees. What are those things? It might be scrub. So if that's where the runway begins. So we're looking to the just a couple of feet, one highway length to the left of it. If we go to this position, we should be right in line with it. Okay, let's go look. Green tea suggests that might be pixeled out purposely. But let's see if we can see it from right there. Where's that point? There's the edge of the tarmac. Supposed to be one car length and one road length from there. There's the edge of the tarmac. So right about there. And there's something here. It's long. Is that the construction? This photo is dated February 2025. Those white things being part of the runway. Right where that is there. Maybe it's in a depression? No, it's after the trees, right? It's after the trees on the side of the runway. Because that's where that gray spit ends. And the same thing's in the aerial photograph from 2023 where the gray spit ends. It's supposed to be right about there. Is that it right there, this gray thing? It's orange. It's supposed to be orange. That's well hidden, man. Supposed to be right there. Maybe it's fictional. And then totally lost to us. Huh. Too bad we can't go out on the runway. Yeah, there's a problem with my upload speed today. It's horribly slow. Let me show you. We'll go here. I'll show you my upload speed today. I don't have enough to cover 2 streams at once, evidently. Welcome, Pretty Hate Machine. I have my computer working overtime over here for some reason. All the videos freezing? Yeah, let me go check out my upload speed here. We can hear you fine. Both YouTube and Twitch. Audio is good, but you're frozen on YouTube. Yeah, when I checked upload speed tonight from my provider, it was very low. I'm going to recheck it now. YouTube, not YouTube Tools, will be under Krakatoa. Show prep and speed test. Let's see why. Go. Syracuse. Test that speed. My download speed is going to be fantastic. Oh, that's even low. Wow. Looks like it just fell off a cliff. It's reading 200. It's supposed to read about 600. But the important thing is the upload speed. Oh, that should be okay. No, that should be okay. I'm going to X out of this. Elder, it's not the internet throttling me, it's my provider. This evening it's my provider. Don't want this to happen again. How about it, guys? Am I restored on YouTube and Twitch yet? Can you guys see me move around yet? Google Earth. Not yet. Son of a gun. My computer's working overtime for some reason, too. Okay, I'll just go. If you guys can get audio, I'm just going to go on with the audio then. And we're going to go to Gotcha Man's suggestion. At 13 minutes past the hour. First, although, I'm going to go to see what's happening at my task manager to make sure, to see what's making my computer bug out here. 100% CPU use from OBS Studio. Okay, that's not good. Gotcha Man asks, what was my suggestion? I don't have your suggestion yet, Gotcha Man. Would you repeat it yet? I should say green tea. Green tea's suggestion. Yeah, I seem to be okay on CPU use right now. So considering this may now be just like a radio show, please let me know when I'm back on. Okay, we're now going to green tea's suggestion. At the next search with quant.com, which is at 15 minutes past the hour. Did Project Fishbowl try to prove we live under a dome? Display more results. Operation Fishbowl. Fact check. Please, guys, let me know when video is restored or if you're still frozen. Let me look at my own program, too, that's broadcasting. That is here. It says here I'm over with. Okay, guys, I'm going to restart the stream. Wait a minute. No, I'm not going to do that. Wait a minute. It says end stream, and then here it says edit. The stream's current bit rate is lower than the recommended bit rate. We recommend to use a bit rate of 3 times as much. Oh, yeah. Open widget. Stream status it claims is good. Can I see myself? No, it's frozen where I'm looking at the airport from above. Is that what everyone else is seeing? The airport from above? Warning. Current bit rate is lower than recommended. Warning. Oh, now I'm down to 300. And I'm now even lower. 2267. Okay, guys. This is not good news. I guess we'll just continue. Can I record at the same time so I can get all this? Even though it's not being getted there. Start recording. Okay, I'm recording as well. All right, we're going to continue with we're going to pretend like it's radio and continue with green tea suggestion. I'm now reducing this. And we're looking for Project Fishbowl. What was Operation Fishbowl? Sonic bomb. Looks interesting. Let's go to dead air, I know. Let's go to what is Operation Fishbowl? Just dazzle us with your voice, Bill, says Green Tea. Big Guy One said, let me dump my cookies. Bill, that should fix it. It's not going to fix it on my friend. It's not going to fix it on my end, my friend, Big L1. Open link in new tab. Here at Mallory'sAdventures.com, we have a reading by Bill. We have an article entitled, What was Operation Fishbowl? The U.S. government's secret nuclear tests in space. That I've never heard of. It's a good place to be. The author is not listed, unless it is Kanita Bajrami. And Ms. Bajrami begins. The Cold War was a time of intense rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union. And that competition didn't just take place on Earth. It extended into space as well. One of the most surprising and controversial operations during this period was Operation Fishbowl, a series of secret high-altitude nuclear tests conducted by the U.S. government in the early 1960s. If you're thinking, wait, they're detonating nukes in space? Or they were? Yes, that's exactly what happened. That I've never heard of. Let's dive into the bizarre and sometimes frightening story behind these nuclear tests in the sky. To really understand why Operation Fishbowl happened, you've got to remember the tension of the time. The Cold War wasn't just about the arms race on the ground. It was also about who could dominate space. After the Soviet Union launched Sputnik in '57, the U.S. was determined to not only catch up, but to surpass the Soviets in space capabilities. Nuclear weapons were already a huge part of this competition, and it seemed like a natural extension to test them in space, where their effects might be even more devastating, or at least that was the theory. Ooh, that's intriguing. By the early '60s, the U.S. military and government scientists wanted to know what would happen if a nuke exploded far above the Earth's surface. Could it be used to disrupt enemy communications? Could it create an electromagnetic pulse or an EMP that would knock out electronics on a massive scale? And maybe more importantly, what would it do to the atmosphere and the space around our planet? Operation Fishbowl was part of a larger testing program called Operation Dominic, which was focused on testing nuclear weapons to see how they would behave in different environments. While most of the tests took place on land or at sea, Operation Fishbowl was designed to take the tests into the sky. It was kicked off in 1962, during a time when the U.S. was deep in the arms race with the Soviet Union. The idea was to detonate nuclear warheads at high altitudes, between 30 and 250 miles above the Earth's surface, and observe the effects. The goal was to see how nuclear explosions interacted with the upper atmosphere, and Earth's magnetic field, and space itself. Next section is entitled Starfish Prime. Of all the tests conducted during Operation Fishbowl, Starfish Prime was by far the most significant and the most alarming. On July the 9th in 1962, the U.S. launched a Thor missile, carrying a 1.4 megaton nuclear warhead from Johnston Island, located in the Pacific. The missile shot up into space, and the warhead detonated at an altitude of 250 miles above the Earth, over the Pacific. The explosion was way more powerful than anyone had expected. The flash of the blast could be seen from Hawaii, 900 miles away, and the explosion created an artificial aurora, lighting up the night sky with eerie color. The blast also created an enormous electromagnetic pulse that knocked out electrical equipment in Hawaii, causing street lights to fail, telephone lines to go down. Some of the effects even reached as far as New Zealand. Try that today, you're going to knock out a whole bunch of cell phones. It wasn't just the EMP that was a surprise. The explosion released a massive amount of radiation into the Earth's magnetic field, which lingered for months, damaging satellites in orbit. At least 7 of them were knocked out, including the first ever commercial communications satellite, Telstar 1. Starfish Prime was not the only test in Operation Fishbowl, although it was the largest. You'd think after the first one they'd tone it down. There were several other high-altitude tests, including Bluegill Triple Prime, Checkmate, and Kingfish. Each test had different goals, but they were all designed to observe the effects of nuclear explosions at different altitudes. Many of these tests were less successful than Starfish Prime. Some of the missiles failed to launch. Others exploded or didn't detonate at all. Exploded too early or didn't detonate at all. Techie Man once says they needed an excuse to shoot down satellites on purpose. But despite the technical difficulties, Operation Fishbowl gave the U.S. military a lot of data about how nuclear weapons behave in space and what kind of effects they have on the environment. T. Plateau says, have you seen the junk up in space? Unfortunately, we can't see it now, but there are pictures of the dense cloud. You can't even see details on the planet through these pictures of the cloud of stuff that and junk that orbits the Earth. And the author continues. So why was the U.S. detonating nukes in space? Part of the reasoning had to do with Cold War paranoia. The U.S. wanted to know how nuclear weapons could be used to defend against Soviet missiles or satellites. There was also the idea that a high-altitude nuclear blast could create an EMP that would knock out Soviet communications, potentially giving the U.S. a huge advantage in a nuclear war. Tacky Man says, damn, we just can't stop polluting, ain't it the truth? But there were also some unexpected consequences. One of the biggest surprises from the tests was just how far-reaching the EMP effects were. Starfish Prime's explosion knocked out electrical systems nearly 900 miles away, which was not something scientists had predicted. It became clear that high-altitude nuclear explosions could have major consequences for civilian infrastructure, even far away from the blast zone. Well, wouldn't that disable their launch codes, though? No, because wouldn't that disable their launchings? I gotta ask ChatGPT. And this question is going to be about, will the detonation in the Earth's outer atmosphere of a nuclear weapon knock out the capability of another nation to even launch its own nuclear weapons? And we will correct the spelling here and ask the question. And it says, detonating a nuclear weapon in the Earth's outer atmosphere could potentially disrupt another nation's ability to launch nukes, but not completely prevent it, especially if the nation is prepared. Here's what happens and what the limitations are. In a nuclear detonation in the outer atmosphere, a massive EMP is produced. No kidding. Satellite disruption and damage, ionospheric disturbance. Could this prevent a nuclear response? Only partially or temporarily. Here's why. Hardened systems exist. Most nuclear-armed nations like the U.S., Russia, China, have EMP-hardened systems specifically designed to survive such attacks. Yeah, they would have, right? Because we have that knowledge. And we build that into our systems. So everyone else has it too. Redundant and decentralized launch systems. Autonomous or pre-delegated launch protocols. But some systems are vulnerable. Nations with less developed infrastructures or poorly shielded systems could lose the ability to launch. Would it be considered an act of war? Well, naturally. Welcome to X in line for Halo SX, who says, enjoy your night, sir. We're out here doing a whole lot of gang shite, sir. Salute. Okay, X in line. Be safe. Stay safe there, buddy. There's a better way. Better directions in which to direct your energies, perhaps. But I still salute you, sir. Okay, so we're going back to the reading. And I got to find it. Should be fairly recent. Yep, here we are. So why were they testing nukes in space? Cold War paranoia. Unexpected consequences, that EMP blast. And that's when I took a detour. The fallout, literally and figuratively. The aftermath of Operation Fishbowl was a mixed bag. On one hand, the tests provided by the U.S. military with valuable information about nuclear arms in space. On the other hand, they raised serious concerns about the risks of detonating nukes in the air. The EMP from this tests were stronger than anyone had expected, and the radiation from the blasts ended up damaging satellites and potentially increasing the risk of future space debris collisions. More importantly, the tests contributed to a growing global concern about the environmental impact of nuke explosions. Radiation from the tests lingered in the atmosphere, and even for years, and even contributed to the increase in radioactive particles that were being detected all over the world. Operation Fishbowl and other nuclear tests in space led to international pressure to put an end to these kinds of experiments. In 1963, just 1 year after Starfish Prime, the Limited Test Ban Treaty was signed by the U.S., the Soviet Union, and the UK. The treaty banned nuclear tests in the atmosphere, outer space, and underwater, marking the end of tests like those conducted during Fishbowl. While the treaty put a stop to space-based nuclear testing, the data gathered from Operation Fishbowl still informs how we think about the effects of nuclear weapons today, particularly the threat of EMPs. And while nuclear weapons have not been detonated in space since, the memory of these tests serves as a reminder of just how dangerous and unpredictable these kinds of experiments can be. And that's the end of that article. Next up, from Rhino Rex. And Rhino Rex wishes to know: highlight, paste again, the Doveland, Wisconsin mystery. And as Eldergrown says, Wisconsin represent. Search on that. Ooh, Doveland, Wisconsin, the town that wasn't there, at Historic Mysteries. At historydefined.net, the legend of the missing town. At curiospot.com, Doveland, Wisconsin, the truth behind the vanishing. At theghostinmymachine.com, unresolved, what happened to Doveland, Wisconsin. Let's try the Ghost in My Machine. Opening a new tab, clicking tab, cookie settings, gotta look at cookie settings, save and accept. Here's a story at theghostinmymachine.com by Lucia, entitled Unresolved: What Happened to Doveland, Wisconsin, and Did It Ever Exist at All? Previously titled The Atlanta Bloodhouse. Okay, I see why they changed the title. And Ms. Lucia begins. Do you know about Doveland, Wisconsin? It's a town. Well, no. That's not quite correct. It was a town. A small one, more rural than suburban. Although no one is really sure where within the state of Wisconsin it was located. No maps of it have ever been unearthed. Indeed, it seems to have been scrubbed from the historical record. Doveland, you see, allegedly disappeared sometime in the late 1980s or early 1990s. But no one is really sure when it happened or where the town went. Really nice misty picture of a highway extending into green fields in the distance. Most locals don't even remember Doveland. Not even when you think they would. But if you look in the right places, you will find them. The folks who are asking questions, looking for answers. What happened to Doveland, Wisconsin? Where did it go? And most importantly, did it ever exist? There's a short answer to the whole mystery, of course, which we're not going to cover. Because it has to do with myth. And we don't cover myth here. A post from a now deleted Tumblr that's been preserved, thanks to a reblog from a different, still extant Tumblr, contains most of the information available about the Doveland, Wisconsin legend. I will quote the post at length, in the event that the Tumblr I found the reblog on eventually gets erased from the internet too. Let's not do that. Let's see if she notates the original. Or search for the original. We can search with a unique, good photography, good pictures in this article. Another darker one, almost dusk, of a field backed by a forest and a pond in the foreground, darkly reflecting the above scene at night, or at dusk, rather. So we're looking for the URL. Does she give references at the bottom? Follow ghost photos. Follow. Apparently no references. So we're gonna have to search for a unique set of words that will find us this information. Tumblr that's been preserved thanks to a reblog from a different. And it won't let us copy. So we're going to have to put this on a text file. Right-clicking on desktop, selecting new text document, entering on that, and getting it to expand. Reducing its size because it covers almost the whole screen. Size is reduced. And there's two of them. Get rid of the first one, which is still big. Now I have the little one. Now I must read in here what I just read. Tumblr that's been preserved thanks to a reblog from a different. No, that's not the text I want. That's from her article. I want the unique text from the borrowed article. And that is... Okay, let's read. There's allegedly tourist memorabilia from the town that still exists. Let's try that one. Still can't copy. And got the textbook box back. And dictating. There is allegedly tourist memorabilia from the town that still exists. Now we're going to put that in quotes. And we're going to copy that from, highlight that first and copy it from the text file. Reduce that text box. I have to search for that on Google, which is, we have to open the Google image to a new page. And there's a Substack. And there's a Tumblr. Going to Tumblr. And here it is. Sometime in the late 1980s, early 1990s. One day the town was there. The next it wasn't. Every man, woman, and child vanished into thin air. Nobody today remembers Doveland. There's allegedly tourist memorabilia from that town that still exists. T-shirts, mugs, postcards, etc. But the town is gone. It was also removed from maps and razed by the powers that be, either to cover up what happened or out of fear that it might happen again. What's really weird is that most locals don't remember Doveland either. which is strange because in rural Wisconsin, communities are closely knit, just like every other sparsely populated area of the country. The most likely explanation is, but let's just carry on. It never existed, dumbass, is the most likely explanation. But let's carry on. Aldergrone says, there is plenty of Doveland merch, but it's from Etsy, so it's likely more recently made. Thank you, Elder. Green Tea got audio back. Here are the theories postulated as to where it went. Number 1, debunking. Number 2, the locals up and left due to untenable circumstances, sickness, bad economy, what have you. Rhino Rex says, I got it back, had to leave and came back to fix audio. Rhino Rex, do we have video back? My computer is no longer working overtime. Let's check on the live source. Not according to mine. Warning. Streams is lower than recommended rate. Stream status excellent. Are people seeing... Oh, we have more warnings here. Poor now. Yeah, thanks a lot there on my carrier. And this just happened, too. I mean, it's happened during the show, too, as you all well know. Audio still stuttering. Audio is stuttering, too. Oh, my goodness. Number 3. A government project or government experiment went wrong and unalived everyone. Then they razed Doveland to the ground to cover their screw-up. Number 4. The town fell into another dimension. Or we shifted to a reality where the town never existed. A la the Mandela effect. Searching for Doveland, Wisconsin on Google yields only some old threads on X, where they're just as confused as I am, but more mysteriously, 2 articles on missing people in Wisconsin. Ooh, let's open up the articles. Open link in new tab. Open link in new tab. We'll finish the story here on Tumblr first, and then check out those Wisconsin stories, missing Wisconsin people. And the end is short. 1 more paragraph, which consists of 1 sentence. Most of the evidence points to it just being an urban legend, but it wouldn't be the first mass disappearance. Roanoke, Lekanjikuni, Port Verity, and several other small localities are confirmed as having disappeared. That's the end of the original. And we'll go back to the encompassing article after we check out these missing people articles at postcrescent.com. First one entitled, Who Are They? Wisconsin's Missing Children. Written by John Farrick. USA Today Network. Mr. Farrick begins. The National Missing and Unidentified Persons System has identified 19 Wisconsin youths who were younger than 18 at the time they disappeared and have never been found. 13 of the missing and endangered children cases may involve a non-family member being associated with their disappearance. Using the organization's searchable online database, here's a listing of those 13 cases. And we have the listing of cases. We have boy age 16, girl 15, boy 4, girl 15, girl 15. I'm sensing a pattern here. No joke intended. Boy 5. Seems like teenage girls and very young boys so far. Girl 15, boy 1, girl 14, girl 7, girl 17, girl 15, girl 8, mostly female. The second article at the same location, postcrescent.com. More than 1,000 Wisconsinites reported as missing, being the title, and written by Andy Thompson. And Mr. Thompson begins. The circumstances surrounding the 1,005 missing people in Wisconsin run the gamut. From the endangered, to the elderly who become disoriented, to runaway juveniles, or to those who intentionally disappear to get a fresh start. Some names have been on the state's missing persons list for years, including Appleton's Lori Dupree's, who disappeared after leaving work at the Fox River Mall on August 19, 1992, and arriving at a friend's apartment in the town of Menasha. Authorities are treating her case as a kidnapping and unaliving. Some are new additions to the list. Dr. Jeffrey Whiteside, only 63 years old, pardon me, and a physician in Grand Chute. Need liquid refreshment. You're going to hear some dead air here. Pardon me. I might blank that out of the final product. I'm recording this at the same time so that future generations will be able to see the whole show. Some are new additions to the list. The doctor was vacationing in the Dork County community of Ephraim more than a week ago when he left a marina on foot. The search for Whiteside has intensified in recent days and has included air, ground, and water searches. Still others are long-term missing persons cases, including Andy Lathrop of the town of Menasha, who vanished in August 2005 while teaching English in Hakodate, Japan, and Kyle Bloom, a Nina man who hasn't been heard from since he left Fox Cities in his pickup truck in August 2014. While the details of the 1,000-plus cases in Wisconsin vary, those who are close to the missing have a shared pain. Bloom's father, Mike Bogan, said, "His birthday was in March. That was tough. Holidays are tough, too." Police officers who investigate the missing persons cases know how difficult it can be for families when their loved ones disappear. We have a possible ban evader on Twitch. I'm going to have to ban at this time, so short pause here as the ban slowly pops up and is executed, and then X'd out of. Nina police officer Edgar Gonzalez praised the members of Bloom's family for their assistance. Relatives and friends of Bloom stay on top of the investigation, and when new information surfaces, Gonzalez says they are on the ball. Gonzalez also says they don't have any closure yet. Obviously, they want to know what happened. Similar sentiments regarding the disappearance of Lori DePries were expressed by Jason Weber, community liaison within the town of Menasha Police Department. Correction, that's Lori DePries, not Lori DePries. Lori DePries. DePries vanished nearly 23 years ago under mysterious circumstances, and her parents, Mary Wegner and Mark DePries, have endured years of heartbreak. Weber said of the uncertainty surrounding those who have gone missing, "It's got to be terrible for the family. They want to know where the missing are. They want to know if they're alive and well." End quote. Lori DePries hasn't been heard from since August 19th, 1992. No phone calls. No reliable sightings. No credit card activity. Wegner said in a 2013 interview, "I don't know what else I can do but wait." Weber said the brunt of the investigation into the Lathrop case happened in Japan because he went missing in that country. He said nothing has been resolved. Here's a picture of the boy looking, was 20. Oh, looks like a young man, very young man. He's a young blonde man, short cropped hair, dressed in a apparent kimono and standing in front of one of those rice paper screens. Excuse me. I must blow my nose, so I'm going to mute for a second. Dead air. Multiple classifications of missing. The missing persons list in Wisconsin has been consistently hovering around the 1,000 mark in recent years, said Carrie Orrin, who coordinates the Silver Alert and Amber Alert programs, along with the Wisconsin Clearinghouse for Missing and Exploited Children and Adults, for the Wisconsin Department of Justice. Orrin said the list is updated when missing people are found, quote-unquote found, or cases are solved. Law enforcement agencies throughout the state typically request that certain cases be added to the missing persons website. A relatively new addition to the state's programs, the Silver Alert, is designed to find those 60 and older with cognitive impairment who have disappeared. The system went into effect on August 1st, 2014, and nearly 40 alerts had been issued as of late June, according to Orrin. It's been happening more than people thought it would, she said. Orrin said all but 5 of those who went missing were found after the Silver Alert was issued. 4 unalived, and 1 is still missing, she said. 7 or 8 of the disappearances were solved as a direct result of the alerts, including 1 person who was spotted at a fast food restaurant in Portage. Aside from those who disappear due to cognitive conditions, are those who decide to leave home and not return. It's not a crime to leave and start a new life without notifying relatives or friends, police said. I imagine unless you forge a new identity, that might be against the law. Aaron Zumlock of the Menasha Police Department said, "You don't really know about people's motivation. When it involves adults, it's even more complicated. Sometimes they don't want their whereabouts to be known, so they leave." And that's the end of that article. And then they have accounts of the numerical accounts of the number of missing. Children 17 and under, Total 1703. Do they have more? Is that more than that? Disabled adults. Okay. Children 17 and under. Total 703. Male 347, female 356. So kind of even there. No, involuntary 4. Endangered 287. That's children 17 and under. Adults 18 and older. Total 302. Male 171, female 131. These fairly even numbers, and the numbers where the males are more than the females, kind of surprise me. You would think that with all you hear in the media about the threats to the fair side of the race, that females would have a higher number. Let's see if there's any more after the adults. Missing persons resources. A partial list of missing persons in Wisconsin can be found at www.missing-persons.doj.wi.Wisconsin-missing-persons. And to sign up for silver alerts or other crime alerts, log on to www.wisconsincrimealert.gov. That's all one word, wisconsincrimealert.gov. My apologies for the technical difficulties this evening. I've been putting off transferring the whole show, porting the whole show from my old computer to my new fast zipping computer with tons more processing power, which would probably make even slow transmission rates from my carrier a problem of the past. That's going to happen this week, before the next show. So don't expect, please don't expect this kind of problem to happen next week. Until then, may God bless and protect you all.